Hi, I'm Tim, Head Strength and Conditioning Coach at OneAthlete. We wanted to follow up on the article that Gemma wrote about the importance of core stability in disability sport. Now, there's a few principles which are really important when you're doing core training, and they all actually apply to all of your strength and conditioning or physio type work. So much of it around getting good adaptation and progressing as an athlete is holding good postural shapes and good body positions whilst we're training, and that's going to apply into your sport specific work as well. So the purpose of the video is to introduce a few of those concepts so that you can then go and apply them into all areas of your training. So we're just going to show you one position. This is an exercise in itself, but we understand that often they need varying or changing depending on what your impairment or disability is, and that's a really important part of our programming that we do with athletes. But let's just talk about the principles quickly. So Dave comes into a Superman position. This is the exercise we're going to have a quick look at. It's really easy for us just to get a little bit of feedback for ourselves by using a simple pole. So Dave sets himself into a great position here. What the pole does when we put it on is gives him a little bit of feedback about whether he's actually in a nice shape or not. So that we can see here when he's in a good position, there's a contact on the top of the hips here, between his shoulder blades and on the back of the head. So the core's braced, he's pulling his tummy button in. We haven't got a separation from the ribs and the hips, and this is what we're trying to avoid. So we can see that in Dave's position, if he drops in and allows those ribs and those hips to separate, we get an increase in the back arch here, which is not what we want. The other way is if he comes all the way up and over, the pole lifts off, we come into this kind of like cat arch back position, which is also not going to give us the maximum strength and adaptation in our core. So we come back into our set position. Dave holds that tight, we get this nice neutral shape. It's really useful to use this just to get that position. Let's just go through the Superman exercise quickly. So Dave can now show us a couple of reps. He holds tight with the midsection, lifting arm and hand leg off the ground, holding midsection here. We've still got a nice flat strong position. He comes in, touches together, he's going to round slightly, but he goes straight back into that fixed position, the leg finishing in line with the hip and not arching up, because again we're going to kind of see this rotation and arch in the low back. Let's spin that round really quickly and have a look at a different variation. So if you want to do something which is a little bit more stable or floor based, we call this a dead bug. Real simple. Imagine exactly the same situation with the hips and the shoulders. Dave's going to take one leg out and one shoulder or one arm. So as he comes in, this is a strong position, holding tight. If he then allows the hips and the ribs to separate, you can see the rib cage pops up straight away. I can get my whole kind of hand underneath his back, which is not good. So he clamps that back down. Hand and knee come back in, and then we can alternate onto the opposite side, dropping this side down, holding strong, again keeping that nice and tight, and then back in. Think about not rounding. We don't want to make a dish shape on the floor here, because that would be the same as that kind of cat position that we saw before with the arched back. So you're finding a little bit of a neutral kind of shape. I probably want to get just our fingertips below Dave's back, and then we have a dead bug position. Again, variations of this can include taking both legs and both arms to make it a little bit more difficult, but this is a real simple core progression which we can use to get some strength in this central point and then holding the body together.